Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we are practicing to understand the concept of government shutdown, or it actually Congress on strike. When we say Congress, we're talking about this the House of Senators, not the representative, because the representative is on recess. And I got this news from our um, representative. Here, let me share with you the reason why we have a town hall phone call from my local representative. And he let us know that the issue they have shut down the Congress on this budget is almost like 22 days now, that they couldn't agree on the budgets again. And as many of you know, if the company work and you guys don't agree on the budgets, because every year you have a budget plan for expenses of any kind of department. So at the country we operate it, when we say government shutdown, would mean the approval for the money from the government, not the executive order, not the judicial, like the justice department or anything like that. But this is generally the senator how. So this is kind of control in their hand. And when we heard about government shutdown, we thought, well, all the government shut down. Even the president do not get paid, or even the judge don't get paid, or any other people who on the payroll receive their money directly from the federal funding, not the local government, not the state government funding. So we need to understand the money, what go and how the money going. So when we have tax, when we have the country money, we have to say, okay, first, how do we get money? At the country, how did you get the money? And how those money spent and how we operate those things. And we take a small from the nuclear family or at an individual to a bigger at a nation. So I think that covered today from that perspective, I just hope that we will understand why we want to analyze this. Because this is concept, it's very simple, but then it's make it complicated because people like to control and people like to take away things that not belong to them. So let's say, as an individual, if you are the solo person, at age maybe 14 or 15, depending on the state, you can begin making money, right? Before you making money, you baby, you need to be raised by your parent. But when you grow up, now you're an individual, you will get paid, get a job. I don't know whatever job that you want to get, right? At a part-time job, because most likely nobody want to pay you full-time job, but you make some money. And then now you say, well, you know what? I make maybe $2,000 the first year. Because you remember you start out at only 14 years old, you make $2,000. And now I have to teach you how to do budgeting yourself. As an individual, you need to learn how to budget and to spend that $2,000. Well, because your parents have like covered your house, your expenses, everything you live on your parent. That is just like a country, the newborn country. You are a baby. Like when you come out to become America, we're not a great nation. We need to have currency, we need to have money, and that blah blah blah. That's one of the foundation, how we make money, right? So remember, now we go back. Okay, we go back at how it grow at an individual, and then we will understand how the nation, how the people, where the money, where the budgets, and how the people make the decision. You, at a teenager, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, you're still a teenager. you begin to make money. You make budgets, planning. I need to buy new shoe. I need to buy new clothes. I need to pay my room and board now. I don't want to stay with my parents. Well, after 18 years old, you can move out all you want. So like we don't control you, but the parent, speaking from the parent perspective, we don't control you, right? So that is how the independence of the country have gained you. You gain that independence, you make your plan. Now, you by yourself, easy to make the decision. But when you get married, you have children, oh, now you have a little tribe for yourself, right? So now you will have budget plan, what is will be fun. So at the time process, like a country, we begin to have like 50 states. Originally we have 48, and then slowly we have 50. Now each of the states have their own budgets in the state, but then they also tap into federal. And why they're federal? And why federal funding? Because at the Constitution of the United States of America, we are the federal level. So when are we federal, certain thing federal will make the decision. So since they make the decision, they need to have their own budgets. They need to have their own way of making money, right? So just like when you get married, you have children, you begin to have your spouse income, and you guys have to make that plan together. And you have to decide, hey, you know what, wife or husband, you are good at budgets, you have the authority to make the final decision on spending money. So the same thing with the three branches of government. We agree that, okay, you make the policy. Excuse me. You make the policy with this Congress. Most of the time, they make public policy. This legislative, they make law, right? They not involved with any other decision, but they are the last one to say, okay, we give this budget a blessing so it can go and move on, right? But they not have authority to print money or print in any. They not going out and do the work. They not actually do the law enforcement like custom on not the executive branch doing that. So basically, if most of you understand, the husband and wife and children, so everybody making income and bring the house and give the money to the mom. No, but that's it sit in the bank, right? And then she have to give the decision, okay, let's spend like 200 here, 300 there, 1,000 here based on what she want. That's how it's going right now. And when the wife is not happy, she can spend money on herself. But guess what? The husband and the child will not get to spare the money. So the same thing with right now. So when they say government shutdown, it's basically the senator or the Congress. They on strike. They basically it's just they're on strike. They don't want to work, but they sit there. They collecting the paycheck, don't they? They will back pay themselves as well. So last thing about us, why it have to be the term that have to negotiate year after year? Why? Because the tax is always increased, and the way we spend is not because of the inflation. Because the way we increase the population, the way that we need more of like here and there, like we need to help this country, that country, or we have more of the program. The number of the people who are on the benefit, like who are on Medicare, on the federal recipient of the social welfare, it have declined. And here we're talking about like, is it the actual increase in the doctor's salary or the hospital fee? I haven't seen that. the charge is almost the same cost, right? The medicine might be increased because guess what? Pharmaceutical, they can sell whatever price that they want. That is the private sector. So when you're talking about healthcare system and healthcare policy, just basically you want to make the issue for like not in a ordinary language so everybody can understand. You want to spend money on medicine, you want to spend money on like seeing doctor, then what qualify the program, it's still the same. But why, when we sell, we increase the money to the people? To who? To the middle class. Because the people who work is actually will pay for the people who cannot pay for themselves. But guess what? The people before they're sick, they also work. Before they get old, they also contribute into the money because they did. You don't live here for 50 years or 40 years without working. If you receive the benefit like when you were an employee, then when you work again, you still pay income tax. That is the truth. So where's the health insurance or policy on that? Why don't we look at that? Where's the fairness? Why like, oh, we take the money from this group and give it to the other group? Just as the same concept of communism. You cannot take the money from the poor or the rich and give it to the poor because of healthcare. That's why we have a social security service. That's why we have supplement from the federal government and the local government. So don't say that, oh, we on strike because we don't agree on certain thing. There's like 2 senators from each state. So we have 104 senator in the House, and we probably have like 50-50 from each party, and we have maybe like 10 that like cannot decide what party they belong to. But this is not the political party. This is more of like the concern of, do they love American people? Do they spend the money correctly? Budgeting is not an issue. Everybody in there is an attorney, or they have like master degree in something. So I think they just don't want to work, and they just want to like drag it out to see how powerful they are, and they are an authority. So guess what? It's not really, to me, it's not really government shutdown. It is just a Congress or the House of Senator, the Senate on strike. And everybody affected by it. All right, goodbye for now.